Rob's Roundtable. We got my buddies. We're the three best friends.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have.
My buddy.
The three amigos.
Three amigos. Three blind mice. This is running back upside floor. This is actually the first show Nick ever came on.
His floor is scary.
There is no
It's
floor.
going to bottom out,
The
right?
floor is gone.
Yeah, yeah. You're walking on glass.
I remember that
Ooh,
back
running back
I remember
upside.
coming
Coming
on
on
that
that
show.
show so hard, bro.
First one, oh my God, he came all over it.
I came hard that show. I was
Just all over the place.
Oh, that's gone. Oh. What is that? Sounds like someone's being attacked by a tiger. What the?
Dad? Randy!
Oh, there was a ghost. There's ectoplasm.
What year was this?
I had energy. I was in a strange dude's basement.
2 years
It
ago.
smelled funny.
Yeah, it was.
like,
It did
man,
smell funny.
I-
All right, this is Upside Floor, running backs. Check out the show. We're building some steam here. Shout out Nick Martinez, new social media guy.
Looking
Check
good,
out
Nick M and Nick O.
Check out our socials in the descriptions. We got a bunch of good shorts, a bunch of good stuff on Instagram, rankings, all the good stuff. You want to get some real fun, cool takes from these handsome gentlemen. Let's go. I got a great stat of the day for you. This is actually really funny, too.
usual.
Brees Hall finished as 2023's overall RB2 last year. Beautiful. I'm going to ask you a little trivia question. How many carries did he have inside the 5-yard line to earn that RB2 overall thing?
You wouldn't be asking us this unless it was really high or really low.
It's a goose egg.
I'm going to go with it low. I'm going to go with 4.
You say 0? Well, 0's insane. It's 1.
1?
Now, that's a Zach Wilson stat.
0's not insane. If it's
1.
That
I
is.
know, but 1.
That's like a Eagles running back stat, right?
That's like a dude being like, yeah, I've banged 300 chicks, but I've had no blowjobs.
By the way,
Like, you're just banging them, but you're not getting blowies? Like, it should be, like, close. You know what I mean? Like
Nick M,
100
do we have to
blowies.
censor that? Like,
No, there's no swears. I mean,
You can make any sexual innuendo.
and the thing is,
you want,
I'm the one that
as long as I'm gonna
censors
swear.
these
as long as you're not
things, so,
swearing
like,
or actually acting it out.
right. It's like Disney, right? I put the that's actually not really an insinuation. That's really, really graphic.
It is.
I'll put a picture of a dude getting blown and then
Put a clip of that guy at the Cubs game. He's behind the home plate. Have you seen that one? Oh, I'll show you
get
later.
blown?
Yeah, he's like doing this.
Half of them came in that 3-run third for the Pirates.
He's like, yeah, he's like
I have
mimicking
seen
the,
that,
yeah.
Whatever you
See, we have more fun than any podcast, and also this information. These guys, they're savvy, dude.
But if you can't take a joke, like, you don't deserve our information.
Yeah, I don't want you. We don't want you.
deserve
Actually, no, we want you. I'm sorry. We'll clean it up. I swear to God. All right, running back upside floor. Let's get into it here. It's 3 names going around the same area. We're going to pick who has the biggest upside, who has the biggest floor. Sometimes you need to draft for upside. Sometimes you need to draft for floor. This is what this exercise is. And if you somehow have the same guy for both, we're in love with them. These guys don't know the list.
Nope.
They're coming in cold turkey, baby. I know the list. I do all this stuff. First 3, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon Barkley. Gibbs, Taylor, Barkley.
All right, so I'll jump right on this one because I'm a big JT guy, right?
Yeah, is it going to be both?
I like him a lot. I like what we saw a few years out of him. You see Richardson's going to vulture some stuff, but you got the same argument with Barkley and Jalen Hurts, and then you've got Gibbs sharing work with what I feel is an underrated Montgomery at this stage still. Coaches trust him. He's going to get used. I'm going to go with JT for both. And
I knew it.
The hard part for that, though, is the Richardson rushing, right? Is he going to steal or is it going to help?
Yeah. So Richardson should elevate the offense, which to me speaks volumes about the floor for Jonathan Taylor, right? He is a consummate yardage professional. He's going to get you 100 yards on a regular basis. He's also going to get you 4 to 5 targets per game. So there's opportunity there. I don't know that the touchdowns are going to be there. I think Anthony Richardson's going to vulture a lot. So for me, Gibbs is the upside play because if there is something that happens to David Montgomery, now you're looking at a top 3 back, and Jared Goff is going to check down a lot to Gibbs, and Gibbs can make yards after the catch happen like no other running back in the league.
And if what the trend was at the end of the year when Montgomery came back, they were splitting the goal line role, which that's all you need with Gibbs. You don't need the full goal line role. That's
still-
fine.
right.
They have so many carries inside.
Monty's
the opposite
not
over here
getting
with Brees
double-
Hall with a 1 carry, and so the Lions had like 40 back-to-back
You're
years.
right.
Jamal Williams.
They
that's
were
what do.
basically trading series on the goal line towards
which
the end
is-
of the
that's all you
year.
want with Gibbs.
So
He's a
Monty's not
dynamic
getting
player,
double-digit
right?
touchdowns again this year.
Okay, I have my upside is Jahmyr Gibbs, just for what I just said,
Mm-hmm.
and my floor is Jonathan Taylor. And the reason it's my floor is what no one's talking about. One of the reasons I loved Richardson this year, for just the possible just breaking fantasy, is Shane Steichen was the creator of the tush push. Now we didn't see it last year, but if they implement this, the Colts have a good O-line. They're in win now mode. I know
Anthony
he's young. I
Richardson's
know
a
he's
big man.
injury prone, but he's not like. Hurts is a superhero, but Richardson is no slouch. He's Cam Newton size.
He's a big man.
If they implement this tush push, it's going to zap Jonathan Taylor's 16 touchdown, possibility. He's still going to get 10, right? Let's be honest, but that's why he's my floor. I wanted to go JT both, but Gibbs has the allure of the amazing ability.
Yeah, it's hard to argue
And
against.
the PPR. This is generally half-point PPR we're going on, but next group here, Travis Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, and Devin A-Chain.
Oh, upside has got to be Etienne, right? Like, is there any? I mean, the most efficient running back
he's
in the
on
league
my
last
list.
year, 7 yards a carry, opportunities for catches, touchdowns,
with a 31-year-old Mostert.
with a 31. Other than last year, injury-prone Raheem Mostert right there, a solid offense. Tua got paid. You mentioned that in the last pod. There's no question that upside is there, and I'm taking A-Chain every chance that I get. I don't care if he busts, if he's injured. I want that upside.
That's the ceiling play
Yeah.
for me, too. That's the guy that can show out. And where you're able to draft him at, he's arguably the league winner category.
Right, end of the second round. Right,
Yeah.
that screams. And for floor, I hate to admit it, but it's Etienne. That should be a regular. He should be a regular contributor. He's going to get his 2 to 3 targets a game. He's the only person in that backfield worth a damn. So yeah, it's Etienne.
I'm going to continue to agree with Story here. Go with ETN with the volume play. They're running the little guy through the tackles
Yeah,
a lot
it's
more than I
volume.
ever thought
They
they
like
would.
doing that.
There's nobody else there to challenge him. The pass game we talked about it leaves a little bit to potentially be desired. It depends what you think of Gabe Davis or Brian Thomas. And I know Rob's going to talk about Pacheco. So
100%. So Pacheco's my floor. The offense is just the role in the offense and the no one behind him.
And it's hard to argue a piece of the Chiefs' offense and the volume running back. I get that.
And again, Story makes this point all the time. They know what they have to do to win, and they're going to just lean on the running back. We saw it in the playoffs. They were giving him 25 touches a game. They're going to scale that back a bit, but they're going to give him the work. Why just put Mahomes in situations? Definitely not doing no tush push with Mahomes. They don't do any quarterback sneaks. That is my floor. 18 carries, 18 touches in a Chiefs offense. My upside is actually ETN. I just feel like he is the all-purpose back with amazing ability in a potentially top 8 offense. We haven't ever seen the best of Travis Etienne yet. We've seen the rushing season. We've seen the receiving season. We have not seen him
We
put it
saw
all
the
together.
best of Etienne, and it was in college. It was,
Hey.
it was at
I'm just
Clemson.
saying,
Ugh.
it's just I don't ever see Devin A-Chain
I
being
just feel
a
my
50.
soul leaving my body there.
I know A-Chain doesn't need 18 touches a game.
He doesn't.
To be elite.
But what happens if he gets
He
18
won't.
touches a
He
game?
won't.
What happens?
He's
if
188 pounds.
Oh my goodness!
Jesus,
they're gonna getting him in space. There's no better team at getting
ETN
players in
has
space.
top 3 upside, dude.
Oh no, not a shot.
Okay.
Top 3 upside.
Next tier here, James Cook, Josh Jacobs, and Joe Mixon. All going around the early 3rd, mid-3rd, late 3rd round.
Cook, Mixon, and Jacobs.
Yep.
James.
I'll give you mine.
James.
My
Josh.
upside is James Cook.
Joe.
And it's because of the offense, the lack of pass catchers, all the pass catchers they lost. He has a great role on the upside. I read that he dropped 4 touchdowns last year in terms of catches. 2 rushing touchdowns, he had 4 receiving touchdowns. I know it's not like really a ringing endorsement on the guy, but he never lost his role, and they trust the guy. And it's the Dalvin Cook thing, man. Like Dalvin Cook wasn't a big dude. James Cook's a little smaller.
They
but
trust
he got
him
all the,
to the 15-yard line.
They
maybe
have
the
trusted
10.
him there, and we'll see. The upside is if they do trust him, again, just half of the time instead of 10% of the time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
And they actually run the ball and maybe scale back Josh Allen's rushing, which we've been saying for years they're going to do. That James Cook has the ability to be a top 5 guy. That's why he's my upside. My floor is Joe Mixon. It just has to be the floor. I mean, he's on a ascending offense. We've seen him do it. His talent has been – it's not great anymore. but he is a steady dude.
Matter.
Been there, done that.
15 to 18 touches
That's
a
the
game
dude. That's the
on a
dude.
really good offense, an offense that should be better this year. Stroud, a top 5 quarterback, so there's plenty of opportunities for touchdowns there. Catches. Joe Mixon's not a great pass catcher, but he can. And there's nobody behind him, right? It's Dameon Pierce and a couple of rookies or a couple of cast off. Yeah. Upside, I like Josh Jacobs for this. I'm not particularly in love with Josh Jacobs at this point in his career, but they don't really like what's his name? Big quad man, yeah. A.J. Dillon. And Marshawn Lloyd is hurt already. So just if it's all volume and Jordan Love doesn't really run around the goal line, so
Josh Jacobs is your upside?
Yeah, 14 touchdowns.
No.
Yep.
Do you remember? You know what Matt LaFleur's history is, right? He never gives one guy all the work, ever. And you might be like, well, you had Aaron Jones,
he might not have an option. They don't like Dillon, and Marshawn Lloyd doesn't look like he's ready for the NFL.
Do you remember Derrick Henry's second year when they had Deion Lewis and they were playing Deion Lewis literally 45% of the snaps as the early down banger?
I also remember
Matt LaFleur.
I also remember Deion Lewis being a league winner on the Patriots. Right. So it's not to your argument is that Deion Lewis isn't good enough to compete with Derrick Henry. My argument is Deion Lewis has showed coaches across the league that he is a.
How did it work that year for him?
Deion Lewis was a league winner that year.
Not with the Titans, though.
No, but with the Patriots.
How did it work?
So he's a good
year?
player.
That looked like that. In hindsight, that's a bad decision.
Okay.
Bad decision. And Matt LaFleur always gives the ancillary back like 35% snap share. And until it changes, I love Josh Jacobs. I think he's a workhorse, but they're not going to use him as such. That's all I'm saying. I love you.
I think you look at with Aaron Jones when he's healthy, the games, the output that he had in those games. I think you can expect a similar output from Jacobs in that same offense. Not much has changed there. They're going to grow another year into it. I think Jacobs is my ceiling as well. I think there's a world where he puts up a season similar to what he did with the Raiders a few years ago, and was leading the NFL that year. So I'm going there, and then I want to go with Cooks for my floor, just because there's no one else there. They're going to have to establish the run.
Cook.
Yeah, Cook.
Cool.
It's like Jules Oscos.
It's like
Jewel Oscos. I'm about the Jewels.
Myers.
Yeah.
Yep. Go to Myers. Go to Jules.
Roads. Rude.
Roots? I can't say that word.
Roads.
Rowards. That's a total weird word, isn't it?
Rowads.
James Cook is going to be my floor play, and it's just volume based. I do worry about the touchdown upside. They say they're going to stop Allen from running every year. They haven't for 5 years. I don't know that they're going to. Your take with Matt LaFleur is going to give a workhorse running back is my take with they're going to stop Allen from rushing. Like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, James Cook's better than both of them. Next three, I get the last word in because I am hosting Aaron Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, and James Conner, the dinosaur, also a cancer survivor. Shout out, wear your ribbon. Why don't you wear the ribbon?
Why?
Do they wear ribbons for cancer? What is
it? Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
What do you got?
Same guy for both. It's Ramondre Stevenson.
Ooh, I wanted to. The upside, it's hard to say with that offense. But
I like the upside.
Why,
yeah,
dude.
so they re-signed him this year, right? So they showed commitment to him.
3 years,
This offense
mil,
has a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach with a new philosophy. This is going to get back to the fundamentals of this game. And Stevenson is the top dog there, and his best feature is his ability to catch passes, and that's what gives you upside and gives you floor. If he's catching 3 or 4 receptions a game, plenty of opportunity for upside, I think, with breaking off long runs. He's their goal line back. I see him being a true 3-down back. I love him for both of these.
So you don't trust Antonio Gibson is what I hear.
I do not trust Antonio
No one
Gibson.
does.
Yeah.
What do you got, Nico?
Stevenson's pass catching ability, I think, is overlooked or underrated because you look at how big he is or how hard he runs or whatever else, but the guy catches so many passes. I think he bounces back from what was a down year. We had really high expectations for him last year. He's like a post-type sleeper category almost. And the other two, there's no way either one of them play 17 games. I'd be surprised if either one of them get double-digit games at this point in their careers. That offense is going to have to go through Stevenson. They're going to play it safe with the rookie up there and the dump-off passes as well as run as much as
Are you going both?
Are you both?
And it's an underrated offensive line, so I'm going Stevenson both.
I might have to too because I actually didn't do an upside. I did floor Stevenson, which was easy, and then I just didn't do the other. So,
well, I think the upside's Connor.
I kind of want to go upside Connor, honestly.
If he plays all 17 games, I think
not
he
even
outperform Stevenson. But
so I'll go Connor upside. As much as I've not been a James Conner guy, although he won me so much money that year Le'Veon Bell held out. I should love him.
He's safe. He is the goal line back there, and he catches
he's
passes
a cancer
too.
survivor too.
True.
All right, next tier here: Jaylen Warren, Tony Pollard, and Brian Robinson Jr. I have Jaylen Warren as my floor. It's the Austin Eckler thing, the early Austin Eckler thing, and I like the floor there. And actually, I could go upside with him as well, just because of him taking over the role. It's the last year of Najee Harris's deal. But why wouldn't they run Najee Harris if it's the last year of his deal? I'm just going, that's a safe guy there.
So I'm going upside for Warren, and it's an injury play because if something does happen to Najee Harris,
well,
I'm worried, from a floor perspective, I'm worried about Tomlin could go back to a one-back system and just run Najee Harris all the way in. And
he's a better player.
It's
close.
Mike Tomlin doesn't really seem to care about that kind of stuff. And he will win 9 games this year.
Yep.
Right.
Sure will.
Floor, I like Brian Thomas.
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson, thank you.
Brian
Thomas, yeah. Anytime a guy gets shot in the butt, comes back and gets the number of carries that he does,
shot with a gun.
Coaches trust him. So I'm going Brian Robinson.
This one's tough for me. I like Jaylen.
You been drinking?
I do think
maybe you should start.
They're both juniors too, right? Brian Thomas.
What the hell's
Jr.,
in this
Brian
thing, man?
Robinson Jr.
You're gonna have to blur that out.
Yep.
We're not sponsored by Snapple, man. Who the frick drinks Snapple? Snapple? Too fruity.
It's lemon. Yeah.
They give you fun little tidbits in the cap.
What do you got, Nico?
I got to struggle, man. It's hard for me to say because I like Jaylen Warren better than I like Najee, but I think in a contract year, when they're going to let the guy walk, they're just going to put all the miles on him and beat him into the ground either until he's hurt or he just gets all the work.
You beat that ass up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You ran that ass in the ground and you're moving on, right?
Well, I didn't run we had a nice marriage.
No, you ran that ass in the ground.
I don't run people's ass in the ground.
All men do.
It's not a negative thing to run an ass in the ground. That's all.
You ran that shit in the ground like a rental car.
Yep. That's it. Pollard, I don't trust. I like Tajay Spears in Tennessee just as much, if not better than I like Pollard over the course of the whole year. And Robinson, I don't think has a lot of challenge there. I think Robinson's the safe one. And Eckler, obviously, is a maybe change of pace at best, but otherwise just a pass-catching third down back.
So you have upside.
So I'm going floor Robinson, and I'm going upside Warren. But
I'm flip-flopping that. I think that's what you had.
That's why
I'm going upside Brian Robinson, and this is the reason why. You see these elite, remember that the RG3 season when Alfred Morris had like 14 touchdowns? I know they always tell you that rushing quarterbacks zap the touchdown potential. The difference is Jaden Daniels comps more to RG3 and Lamar Jackson, who don't run inside of the red zone as much. Mm-hmm. And the RPO and the threat of that speedy quarterback open up lanes. And I feel like Brian Robinson kind of reminds me of Alfred Morris, man. Just a big dude, no nonsense dude. You give him carries from the 6 in that situation. That's why he's my upside, because there's a world where where Eckler's done. Right? And Brian Robinson scores freaking 14 touchdowns.
The potential of Eckler not being done and it just being an injury season last year.
That's why it's my upside, not my floor.
Well, that's why I don't think there's upside there.
Or them playing from behind and throwing quite a bit and not being in the game.
Brian Robinson's passing metrics were awesome last year, just so you know. I know he's not Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's passing metrics were bad last year.
I would assume
he dropped a bunch of passes. He is not dynamic. Just for leadership, like Jason Hayward and the Cubs, where you're just giving speeches at the rain delay.
Like Jason Witten.
See how that's working out.
Yeah, right. All right, next tier: Javonte Williams, Zach Moss, and Tajay Spears. These are all really close.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Zach Moss. I know we talked about him in one of the earlier pods for floor play. So we talked about Zach Moss versus Chase Brown. Looking back at Chase Brown's film last year and some of the advanced metrics, I'm not really sold on Chase Brown. So I think with the contract they gave Zach Moss, he's a guy that knows how to get on the field and stay on the field. I like him for a floor play. And then upside, Tajay Spears in that offense has plenty of potential. Even if Tony Pollard doesn't get hurt, I think you're going to see Tajay Spears separate himself this year. Pollard, not a true plotter, but he did not show anything given the opportunity in Dallas last year. So Spears, to me, has plenty of upside in that Tennessee offense.
Nico?
For me, Javonte Williams, you're hearing some real positive reports out of camp right now, but he just didn't look like himself last year. Maybe it's this offseason, further removed from injury. Maybe he gets back to form. I liked who he was pre-injury, so it's hard for me to stay away, but I feel like Moss is the floor. I don't want to give too much of my theory on Moss. Check the Hot Takes episode, and I'll dive a little deeper with him and Chase Brown. But for the same reason Story said, I think he's the more proven back that when you give him the workload, he's going to be the steady spaghetti. We haven't used that one yet. Hey! And I like Spears better than Pollard in that offense. I think he takes over. I think that's the upside. I believed in Pollard when he was behind Zeke. I thought that's the more electric runner. That's the guy that's going to be the stud going forward. He had the chance. He flopped. I don't need to see it anymore, man. I'm over Pollard, and I'm all on Spears in that offense.
I have the same exact thing. I hate to agree with you guys. And Tajay Spears, I don't know if you know, he doesn't have an ACL. Which, actually, in reality, if you don't have an ACL, you can't tear an ACL. Yeah. So, like, DeJuan Blair, I remember the Spurs had no ACLs. The guy could never have a knee injury because, like, what can you injure, right?
Just get rid of your knees.
Somebody
Ryan
else,
Robinson, apparently, you can't get killed. He's like 50 Cent. You just shoot the guy a bunch.
He got shot 9 times.
Yeah, 9 times. Next tier, Trey Benson, Zach Charbonnet, and Blake Corum. We're going deep. There's one more after this. These are tough. My upside is Blake Corum, and this is mostly injury-related, but, like, you can't argue the fact that there's a chance he takes a job, which you never know with Sean McVay, your favorite. Yeah. And he is a probably top 7 back. He's going to be right where, if it actually better than Kyron Williams, because then who's behind him if there's an injury? That's my thing. And then my floor is Zach Charbonnet. And you can argue the same thing if Kenneth Walker gets hurt. But I feel like Zach Charbonnet has a role where I don't know if Trey Benson's going to have that same role without injury. Zach Charbonnet has already forced his way on the field 40 to 50% of the time with Kenneth Walker healthy. And all of his metrics were better. He was a better pass blocker, better pass catcher, and actually better runner.
Yeah, so there's the phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats, and I think the opposite is true, too. And if the Seattle Seahawks offense is as putrid as I expect it to be this year, then I don't think there's any opportunity for Zach Charbonnet, even with the role that he has with Kenneth Walker on the field. So I hate to say it, but I'm ruling him out. I think your upside has to be Trey Benson, and we talked about James Conner not playing 17 games, and if he gets hurt and spends time off the field, I think Trey Benson is the guy there.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
It's really tough to say.
Blake Corum was not going to see more than 6 carries until an injury. What the hell?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a floor
They're
here.
all really hard.
This is the most difficult one.
They get harder as you get lower.
The problem is Kyron Williams is probably going to keep that job, and I mean, yeah. So either one. Yeah, I know. This is where I get because this is all injury.
I know,
but
Zach Charbonnet is the only one that doesn't need an injury to be relevant.
Doesn't matter if it's the Seahawks. So.
All right. Well, you just hate the Seahawks.
I do hate the Seahawks.
I love that about you, Story.
Yeah, I hate the Seahawks. So, but yeah, I guess you're right. There's a world where Corum takes the job from Kyron Williams. I suppose that you could argue. But there's no floor play here. There really isn't.
McVay hasn't shown a ton of loyalty to any one back, right? He'll switch backs, and they'll be his workhorse, but he'll switch backs at the drop of a hat.
He's like a swinger.
And if he swings the Corum, that's your ceiling play. And Charbonnet, I think, is the guy that has the clearest path to at least some work. The previous regime was big Kenneth Walker, Tiny Dancer fan, right?
Tiny Dancer.
Now they've got a different offensive staff in there, and there's a world where Charbonnet is 1A, 1B, just as competitive or gets just as much work. So I think he's your floor, and Benson is you're waiting on an injury.
You are, which is probably going to happen, probably, or another diagnosis. That's real bad. But
Who this man? Who this man?
Who this man? Fine, man. Yeah. Like, you never know. Remission's a thing, dude. I'm sorry. Last tier, Ty Chandler, Tyler Algier, and J.K. Dobbins. This is a really tough one, too. I'll give you mine first. I have upside J.K. Dobbins as much as I hate it. As much as we love Kamani Vidal, the reports are positive.
I'm cooling on Vidal, by the way.
I know. Yeah. Dobbins, it reminds me a little poor man's version of Mostert last year.
I love J.K. Dobbins, but he's like injuries have wrecked him.
He's got to be the upside. I mean, technically the upside is Tyler Algier if there's an injury.
Yeah,
because that's unreal. But no, it doesn't because Dobbins has the chance just to be the dude. And like that's
What's
my
the
upside.
dude in that offense, though? That's another
The dude's
offense.
in the offense. I don't know.
Yeah.
My floor is Ty Chandler because he's
With
going to have a
Harbaugh
role.
and Greg Roman, dude. It's whoever's getting the run.
There's no wild card here.
But there's
Ty Chandler's going to get
Gus
40%
Edwards.
of the role, and he also has the allure of the not even a handcuff, but like we saw what he did last year when he started. He had 23 touches a game.
Yeah, but we talked about this previously. He couldn't beat out a guy who couldn't beat out a guy.
He did beat that guy.
He couldn't beat
Whatever. That's my answer.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Floor,
Let's
yeah,
see what
I mean,
you got,
honestly,
man.
it has to be Ty Chandler just because he already does
okay,
have
so
a role
the
there.
same thing I just said. What's
I just
your
want the
upside?
people to know.
Just screw you. You don't have explanation for that. What's your upside?
What was the second guy? Tyler Algier. It's injury. Bijan gets hurt. Tyler Algier, and it should be a good offense. Should be.
See, I don't want to wait for an injury to give me upside with Algier. I feel like Algier already has an established role. They're not going to be able to give it to Bijan all the time. He's actually my floor.
Ooh, can't put the genie back in the bottle, right?
No. I do
Monkey's
like
out of the bottle, man.
Monkey's out of the bottle, man.
What?
Yeah.
That's not even an expression.
I do like Ty Chandler quite a bit, and he's going to take over when Aaron Jones gets hurt, so that's hard for me too. But there's a world where Dobbins is the RB1 for this entire season in LA if he's healthy. So that's the ceiling play for me.
That is. And your floor was Ty Chandler?
No, it was Algier because I see a
That's on the
clear
roll
path for all his work right now.
So you don't like Ty Chandler?
I do as an athlete, but I got questions.
You
around
just
him
had him
outside
on a
injury.
couple other things.
I know. No, I
All right.
it was a very difficult decision for
Got
me.
very contentious
We'll be
at the
back
end
in a
there.
little bit. Love these guys.
I can't.
And it's been a complete joy.